Hey everyone, my name is William Charles and I'm a recovering addict. I wanted to speak to you today briefly about medicine-assisted treatment for heroin and opiate addiction. I'm a recovering heroin addict and I personally use methadone as my personal choice of treatment. A lot of people have gotten on my case for that because they believe that I wasn't in genuine recovery and they believe I was just replacing one addiction for another. I can kind of understand where people are coming from because yes, methadone and Suboxone are narcotics and they're still opiates, but they are weaker and it operates on the principle of harm reduction, which is why it can work. It doesn't work for everybody, and there are some people who may get on it and stay on it for life. But let me say this for starters. Number one, if it takes the needle out of somebody's arm and it prevents them from overdosing and dying, isn't it worth them getting on some other kind of medication even though it may not be ideal? I think so, especially if it helps them operate and live a normal life where they are not chasing a high and they are working and operating amongst citizens and normal society doing normal everyday things. And most people who are doing the program right are able to be on Suboxone, be on methadone, and live a normal, healthy life free from other mind-altering substances. I understand you can say Suboxone and methadone alter the state of mind and all that kind of stuff, but you really have to be on a really high dose for that, or you have to combine it with other drugs. And people who are doing it that way and abusing the program obviously aren't in recovery. But people who are following the program the way it should, I believe personally they are in recovery. Some people have told me they believe that Suboxone and methadone in particular are for people that are not well off. They don't have money. They can't go to rehab, so they run a medicine-assisted treatment. That may be true for a lot of people, but it's not true for everybody. There are private methadone clinics, private Suboxone doctors, people with regular insurance, not Medicaid. Not that there's anything wrong with Medicaid at all, believe me. If you're on Medicaid, it's a good option for some people, like I said. But you should know the pros and cons of medicine-assisted treatment before you get on it. Let me say that too, because there are disadvantages. I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm a firm believer of whatever works for you. 12 steps, excellent program. I believe you should get in that anyway, even if you're on medicine-assisted treatment. I think anything you can do to put another tool in your toolbox while you're in recovery is a good thing. But let me say this. I personally chose methadone as my choice of treatment. A lot of people gave me a hard time because they said, you're not in recovery, you're just replacing one drug with another. Not really. I mean, a depressed person goes on Zoloft and it helps them with their depression. And they stay on Zoloft their entire lives, right? Now, I'm not on methadone anymore. I'm one of the few that went through the program and got off of methadone after a year and a half. I went up to 70 milligrams and tapered down very slowly, one at a time. The reason why I decided to go into the methadone program is because I wanted to keep my job. I had a private HMO, and frankly, I could have actually changed my insurance around and got a private PPO and went to rehab. Could have done that. May have taken a month to switch. I don't really know how long it would take, but I could have done that. So, I didn't want to lose my job because I didn't want to take any time off. I had a lot of bills to pay. I had already depleted a lot of my money, and that's what a lot of active addicts do. Thankfully, I really actually did pretty well in my life and had a savings account, but I used a lot of it, not all of it, on drugs. So, did I want to risk losing my job by going into a rehab, getting a different type of insurance and all that? No, I didn't. So I chose methadone. I had a plan. I went in. I did it. I got out. And I didn't use other drugs. Felt great. I didn't feel high. I wasn't chasing after a high. Did I sometimes have that urge and compulsion like other people do? Sure, absolutely. But I didn't use anything else but the methadone every day. And I got off of the program after a year and a half. And in my opinion, I was clean and sober ever since I got on methadone and stopped using other drugs. But for those who don't believe that, I was clean and sober ever since that, ever since I got off methadone. So depending on what you believe, regardless, it worked for me. Now, what about those people who stay on methadone and Suboxone forever? Look, there are people I believe who genuinely need to. And I'm not saying it's ideal, but I still think it's recovery. Yes, they're still in treatment. But then again, people who go to AA meetings and NA meetings on a regular basis are still kind of in treatment too, aren't they? addiction is a disease that stays with you. Yes, it may be in remission, but it lives in the darkness waiting for a chance to strike. If you let that wall down and you decide to cave into a trigger or whatever else because you decided that you're too far along in your recovery and there's no way that addiction can get you anymore, addiction's going to strike, and before you know it, you're back to using. So you can't. That's why people continue to go to AA meetings. That's why people continue to go to NA meetings. That's why people continue on medicine-assisted treatment. Some people are too afraid to stop using methadone or Suboxone because they're afraid they're going to put the needle back in their arm. I think that's a plausible reason to stay on the medicine-assisted treatment. Should they continue resolving their issues with a counselor and go to NA and AA also? Absolutely. But the problem is a lot of stigma is surrounding medicine-assisted treatment, and a lot of people in NA and AA are bad-mouthing those people on medicine-assisted treatment. That's got to stop. So I hope everybody can support each other in the recovery, no matter what it is, because we're all on the same team. We're all trying to beat heroin and opiates and stay clean and sober. Thanks for watching. Anyone who is suffering from addiction, please call the number at the end of this video. We really want to help you get clean and sober. We work with some excellent rehabs, and we can help you get into treatment. The number is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Please call the number. You're going to see it in a moment. Thanks for watching.